Good afternoon, baseball fans, and welcome to Lisles, Tennessee for the Cross-Town Showdown on WNKX between the Hickman County Bulldogs of Centerville and the East Hickman Eagles of Lisles. It's district action coming your way here in a few moments. Once again, we welcome you to WNKX. It is a beautiful day for baseball at East Hickman High School. I'm Josh Copley, joined, as always, by Colby Shelton for the first round of two between the Hickman County Bulldogs and the hosting East Hickman Eagles. And Colbs, it's always special when these two teams play, regardless of the sport.
Yep, it's always fun. It's always a little bit intense, a little bit heated. I know we both know that, both playing in this series in multiple sports, but man, it's a good time and it's a whole lot of fun for the county to show out and get to come and watch and get to hear us listen. I mean, that's obviously the best part is hear us
Of
hear us
course.
talk about it. But no, this is a big game for both schools. I mean, we talked about it before we went on air, but East is neat looking for their first district win, and Hickman only has one. So these are two schools that are really fighting right now to find that groove and get back in this thing.
And yeah, Colby, it's no secret that both of these teams have had their fair share of struggles already this season. But whenever you have a rivalry game, the magnitude of this one, it's almost like you have to turn the records off. You have to turn the scoreboard off. You have to turn prior matchups off because you never know what you're going to get every time these guys take the field because they're going to be giving it 110%. Those guys in red, they see red whenever they face off against those guys in blue and vice versa. And tonight, I'm excited for many reasons, but the biggest being we are seeing both teams' aces on the mound tonight. The Bulldogs are going to be led on the bump by number 4, John Michael Lewis, the Columbia State commit. But on the other side, the East Hickman Eagles, it'll be Braden Presley, number 15, towing the slab. And these two guys, loads of talent, but can they find it tonight?
Yeah, we talked about this a lot last week when the Dogs were having their troubles. I remember talking about it the last game that we covered at home. That it's a simple game. It's harder to execute, and that's obvious. It's about throwing strikes, about getting ahead early. These two guys are thought of by both of their respective teams of that they're the guys, right? So it's a big game for both these guys to face off and claim that and show what they've got. But interesting, also, you don't see this a lot in baseball, but we've got the aces facing off each other right off the bat tonight.
A great way to start, and it is a lineup mix-up for Coach Deshane's squad. Not often we see John Michael Lewis in the leadoff spot, but he's going to be starting us off this afternoon against Presley. And we are underway at East Hickman High School, and Presley misses up and in, and Lewis limbos out of the way, 1-0 count.
It's important also to kind of watch both dugouts and see how fired up they are tonight because you know this is a big rivalry and you want to see it in both dugouts.
Lewis takes a strike on the inner half of the plate, and to take a look at the East Hickman defense in the outfield, playing left field, it's Landon Erickson. In center field, it's Dwayne Lampley. And in right field, it's Derek Trotter. The 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball fouled back by Lewis. And the infield for the Eagles, from left to right at third base, it's Joseph Covington. At shortstop, it's Alex Martin. At second base, it's Jaden Malugin. At first base, it's Braxton Hill. And behind the plate, Dalton Blackburn. And on the mound, who just recorded his first strikeout, Braden Presley.
Pretty good sequence there by Presley. Kind of just fastball city right there. I think that's all I saw. I don't remember seeing anything else, but yeah, he's got his stuff tonight. He's just pumping it right by people. So let's see if Kraft can get us started here for the Dogs.
It's number 6, Andy Kraft, striding in for the first time. Presley going right at him. First pitch fastball over for a called strike.
Yeah, this is what you want to see if you're East. You want to see your pitcher coming out early and throwing tricks and getting ahead, knowing that his stuff is good enough to live in the zone.
The 0-1 pitch misses in the dirt under the glove of Blackburn. And we talked about the defensive alignment for the Eagles. Now to talk about their leadership. They are head coached by Colton Hunt, assisted by Ray Reagan and Brennan Davis. A few names we're pretty familiar with, Colby. And Kraft takes a big rip and a miss at the 1-1 pitch. Now down in the count 1-2. Presley looking good through a batter and some change, trying to go 2 up, 2 down. The 1-2 pitch. Pop foul down the right field line and out of play.
Another thing to keep in mind, Josh, and that foul ball kind of reminded me of plan here that the sun is basically directly behind this camera right here. So the middle to right side of the infield and outfield are going to have a tough time the first couple innings reading a ball off the bat.
And the 1-2 pitch just misses off the black, and the count goes even 2-2. A great take by Kraft. Hickman County trying to get back to their winning formula from earlier this year. That was long counts, making solid contact. Breaking ball, Kraft fouls it back over the concession stand.
Good battle right here by Kraft, who has seen some pretty good pitches, honestly, from Presley, and been able to foul off those hard ones deep in the count.
The 2-2, again, Kraft is battling. And you know, this is more so what Coach Duchesne wants to see from his hitters. Good pitch selection, getting deep into counts. The 2-2 once more. Called strike 3 on the outer half. And it's back-to-back punch-outs for Braden Presley.
Yeah, that's a really good spot right there from Presley. Kind of working in and up throughout that count, getting a lot of foul balls from it, and just, for lack of a better term, just dotting a fastball on the outside corner. Really good spot right there, and something Kraft wasn't really expecting.
So now it's the 3-hole hitter for the Bulldogs, Aiden Spiegelmeyer, just looking to put a ball in play this inning. And he swings and misses and loses his balance in the box, almost literally swinging out of his shoes.
Yeah, that was definitely an 0-0 aggressive cut right there, but I don't hate him for that. I don't hate that. You know, that's kind of what you want to do to go after other team's aces, pounce on them early.
The 0-1 called strike 2.
That spot's going to be there today. We got kind of a high advantage right now, so I can't really tell if that's low, but it looked like a strike from here. I think Presley's going to work up and then out a lot today.
The Bulldogs are going to have to use the opposite field, which they were doing pretty well in the games they were winning. Presley just trying to change the eye level, misses a fastball way elevated. It's a 1-2 count to Spigs, 2 outs. Presley already with 2 strikeouts in the inning. Breaking ball misses down and away. Nice block by Blackburn.
Yeah, sequence right now just looks like outside fastball early, then maybe up fastball, and then a lot of things just away. Fastball, and then that time looked like a tight slider, just kind of working away.
And swung on and missed by Spiegelmeyer. And it is a dominant first inning for the Eagle ace. Braden Presley puts the Dogs down, striking out the side in order. The Eagles taking their first cuts when we come back. And Colby, these games between East and Centerville are special for a number of reasons, and something that I think we should bring to light that shows how tight-knit this community is, whether you wear blue or red. The head coach of the East Hickman Eagles, Colton Hunt, is the husband of Hickman County volleyball coach Rachel Hunt. So we saw Rachel earlier this afternoon, Colby, rocking an Eagles shirt supporting her husband. But really, it's got to be like a house divided at the Hunt household.
Yeah, it was a little weird seeing her in black and blue. I graduated, me and Cooper both graduated with her from Hickman, and she also coaches at Hickman. So it's just weird, but I guess you support your husband through it all. So, no, Colton's a great dude. Of course, a Freed Hardeman alum just like me and you. Played on the baseball team there with a bunch of our buddies. Great dude and a really good pitcher in college, but would love to beat him today. You know, I'd love for the Dogs to get back on the win column today, and you've got your ace up there on the mound to do it.
And Colby, it's rare at least at this level where we see two former high-level baseball players in each dugout coaching each team. We have Colton Hunt in the Eagle dugout, and then we have Cooper Mays, also a Freed-Hardeman baseball player, in the Bulldog dugout.
Leading off for the East Eagles.
I actually don't remember if they were teammates or not, because I know Cooper, being the athlete that he is, quit the baseball team and joined the golf team in college and played with me about halfway through, which is pretty crazy to do at college level. But I don't know if they were ever teammates, but definitely some really good players in both dugouts.
So the East ace, Braden Presley, was lights out in the top of the first. Now the Bulldog ace, John Michael Lewis, looking to replicate that success to the East Hickman leadoff hitter, Alex Martin. First pitch by Lewis misses low for ball one.
Really important here, and I said it for Presley too, but just to start quickly, start ahead, and that's a really good place to start. We saw last week John Michael just struggle with the zone, trying to more be like a locator, not just a pitcher. Sometimes you just got to be a thrower and trust your instincts.
1-1 past the bat of Martin, and that is what you want to see out of John Michael Lewis. A lot of challenge pitches.
That's something we didn't see too, Josh. That's a good point by you, because we didn't see him work inside a ton. He was just kind of trying to nitpick the corners, and inside fastball will wake a batter up quick. And then you get the outside zone for that. So
and
that's
he
really
throws
good.
the Louisiana pitch, Bayou, as we call it. An electric fastball from John Michael Lewis. He records his first strikeout.
You know, I haven't heard that in a long time, but that's a good one, Josh. Props.
Well, to be honest, Colby, that's one of my favorite lines to use when I'm watching my little sister play at Columbia State. She's on the softball team, and first pitch misses up and into Landon Erickson, although Louisiana doesn't always roll off the tongue.
No, that's definitely a tongue twister, especially when you're on the radio talking fast.
So now Lewis again content with working inside, evens the count 1-1 to Erickson.
This is the John Michael we know and we love. A guy that can just work in to out and just throw that fastball right by people.
This one misses a bit too far inside, and Erickson has to jump out of the way. He's ahead in the count 2-1. And we still see fans filing in Colby, a good crowd here at East Hickman High School. The 2-1 pitch, Lewis rears back and gets a swing and a miss. Count even 2-2. The 2-2 pitch to Erickson. Fastball by him. He swings and misses. And it's 2 up, 2 down for Lewis, both by way of the K. And that brings in the 3-hole hitter, Braden Presley. Ace versus ace, part 2. Presley won the battle when he was on the mound. Lewis trying to do the same.
Yeah, and just to wrap up that last at bat, I almost think that pitch he threw upstairs was to set up a breaking ball, and he just got a good chase on it. He's feeling it tonight.
First pitch over, called strike 1 to Presley. Chopped foul straight back into the net. Lewis way ahead on Presley, 0-2.
Yeah, I think it's important to realize the difference between the first inning so far tonight and maybe some of the innings last week where dog pitchers were getting behind in counts. You can see how much easier it is to work if you're in the zone. How many more swings and misses you'll get, and sometimes soft contact, though we haven't seen it yet.
The 0-2, great spot, just down. Good take by Presley, 1-2 the count. And that's a take, Colby, it feels like only a pitcher can have because he knows the zone, does Presley so well.
Yeah, it was close enough, though, where you're like, maybe I should just throw this one in the other dugout.
The 1-2 misses away, count even 2-2, so Presley works the count back even. That last pitch by Lewis, much less competitive than the one before. The 2-2 delivery. High chopper to short. Fielded by Kraft off balance. And it's in the dirt, and Carter Bates can't pick it out. And Presley reaches first, but that's a pretty good pitch by Lewis.
Really good pitch, really good result. Spix played it pretty good. He came and attacked it. It's a weird one. And it's Kraft. I'm sorry. Kraft came and got the ball pretty good, I think. It's a weird one where the ball's hit. You don't see that a lot when you're taking ground balls, right? Ball's hit, it launches up, and you have to kind of guess, where's this thing coming down, and do I have time? I thought he played well, just a little too fast, and Carter Bates, you can kind of see, like, hadn't played there a lot lately, and so kind of a awkward pick chance over there, but all in all, gone first, you still got 2 outs, nothing hurt.
So following the E6, the cleanup hitter catcher Dalton Blackburn stepping in for the Eagles. And while he does, let's look at the defensive alignment for the Hickman County Bulldogs. In left field, it's Major Qualls. In center field, Aiden Spiegelmeyer. And rounding out the outfield, it's Wyatt Bates in right. The infield, at third base, Kylan Seal. Shortstop, it's Andy Kraft. Second base, Braden Chesser. At first base, Carter Bates. Behind the plate, it's tractor Braden McCaleb and John Michael Lewis on the bump. First pitch in the dirt, runner takes off. McCaleb has to take a bite out of it. And now, all of a sudden, the Eagles have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for their cleanup man.
Yeah, I'd like to see Tractor maybe stay down on that a little bit more. It kind of hopped up on him, and it got through the 5-hole. Nothing bad. You just stay down on that one, and ball's kind of in front of you there.
Blackburn ahead in the count, 1-0. Lewis gets a fastball over for a called strike 1.
Yeah, if John Michael can live there, he's gonna do fine tonight. Same thing for Presley. He was living there in the first we saw. That's gonna be a spot that's really hard to hit. That down and away fastball that's still on the plate.
Chopper to third. Seal fields the hop. Throw on to Bates, pulls him off the bag, but he applies the tag, and that ends the inning. So good work by John Michael Lewis. After Presley reached via the error, he gets to second, but that's all. We're tied at 0, headed to the top half of the second. So, Colby, we had a chance to talk about the East Hickman coaching staff, but I think we need to talk about briefly this Hickman County coaching staff as well, led by Coach DeShane, Craig Shelton, Pat Smith, and Cooper Mays. And these young players are going to have to look to this staff to get over this hurdle because they've lost 6 in a row, and Coach DeShane is one of the more motivational head coaches I think you'll see in the district or maybe even the entire region. I got to hear him talk to the Bulldogs before they got on the bus this afternoon, and he said he believes in these guys, he trusts these guys and their ability. He said they're just going to have a short-term memory. Forget about it, next pitch.
Yeah, and just from hearing how he speaks to the kids and how he runs the program, like, great dude, great coach, and truly does believe in his guys and, like, wants nothing but the best for them. And it's easy to play for a guy like that. It's easy to play for a staff combined that are all like that. They're all in the same mindset of Look, guys, we're good. We're a good team. We showed it earlier in the week or early in the season. Excuse me. We believe in you guys. You just got to go do it again. And I think they wholeheartedly believe it. And I know Coach Duchesne's a great man. So I feel like in the dugout, you want to play for a guy like that. You want to do well for a coach like that.
So due up for the Bulldogs, it's 4, 5, and 6, starting with the cleanup hitter. Kylan Seal takes the first pitch for a ball. Braden Presley, in the top half of the first, struck out the side in order on 17 pitches. Hickman County just looking for their first bit of contact. Pitch number 2 to Seal misses down in the dirt, speared by Blackburn.
So far, you know. So far, you know. He likes fastball up. He likes fastball away. With that away, he likes to kind of bury that breaking ball. That's kind of where you're looking right now if you're Seal early in the count.
And Kylan 2-0 swinging, comes up empty after a healthy cut. And I know you're ahead in the count 2-0, but I don't hate the cut there by Seal.
No, it looked like he tried to throw that breaking ball and it just spun and hung, and Seal was a little off time. Unfortunate.
And Seal pops it up down the right field line. First baseman backpedaling. Oh, and the second baseman almost undercut him. But the catch is made by Braxton Hill.
Yep, that's similar to what we saw last week with a lot of those outs that weren't strikeouts. It's you feel like you're waiting back on the ball, but in actuality, you dump the back hip and just kind of flip the bat out there. Not great to do when you're way up in the count, but let's see if the Dogs can figure that out. It's been kind of a common issue we've seen.
Now it's the Bulldog first baseman, Carter Bates. Looking to get something started with one out. He's first pitch swinging. Fouls it back into the net, down 0-1.
The foul ball straight back should tell you that he's on time. That's generally the thing, just under. So let's see if he can stay on time and square the ball up right here.
Presley winds and delivers. Breaking ball, misses downstairs for a ball.
Man, I really like that breaking ball. It's sharp. I know he threw one to Seal earlier that kind of spun and didn't do anything, but that one right there is sharp, and you can really tunnel that with a fastball well.
Bates evens the count 1-1. Presley delivers again. Fastball misses high for ball 2. So already in this inning, we're seeing a lot better pitch selection from the Bulldogs than what we've seen the last few games. Bates not chasing the high stuff. 2-1. Fastball over, called strike 2. That pitch might have had a bit of cut to it, Colbs.
Yeah, it did look like it a little bit. He might have a little cutter in there, or it could just be like that natural supination. Like there's pronators and supinators, and he might just be one of those.
Breaking ball, called strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Braden Presley, and he is rolling through an inning and 2/3. Simply put, Colbs, Bates looked frozen.
Yeah, can't blame him too much there. He hadn't shown that all too much. The back door or the front door breaking ball. We haven't seen that all too much, but man, he's got it. He just showed it to you. So something just to keep in mind deep in count.
First pitch to the freshman Braden Chesser, over for a called strike. Chesser playing second base today after playing a lot of third this season. In his middle school career, he was dominantly a shortstop. So we're really seeing the infield versatility from number 28. And 0-1 takes a cut, fouls it back, now down in the count 0-2. Presley, one strike away from another incredible inning.
Yeah, if you're Chesser right here, this is kind of where you've made your money, so to speak, earlier in the year, especially against Lewis County, if we remember. Really fighting deep in counts and working.
The 0-2 pitch takes a fastball high. Not a bad spot by Presley. It looked like for a moment Chesser wanted it, but he wisely holds back.
Would expect something low, maybe that breaking ball low and away. Tunnel off that fastball.
The 1-2. Breaking ball down and away. On the money, Colby, but this one just misses. Evens the count 2-2. Another great take by Chesser.
Now 2-2. Chesser, you've kind of earned this at bat right now and fouling some pitches off and getting back in it. maybe an inside fastball, something like that.
Breaking ball just missed, and it looked like East Hickman was starting to walk off the field, and I can't blame him. That's a tough take by Chesser. Great pitch by Presley.
Looked like Coach Hunt was asking where that was, and maybe he was right. You know, that was pretty close one.
3-2. Chesser smacks that ball into the left center gap. It's down for a hit. Chesser rounds first, moves up to second, and it's a stand-up 2-out double for Braden Chesser. And Colby, I would go as far to say that might be the best Bulldog at-bat we've seen in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I kind of said it earlier, but it's what we expected from him from earlier this year, from the Lewis County game and previous, of these hard at-bats and just ground at-bats and keep working the pitcher. Because eventually at this level, he's going to throw you something to hit. And he did, and didn't miss it. That's really good, a really good performance right there by I almost called him Bryson again, by Braden Chesser. Now Tractor's got an opportunity here to kind of pick up what he did a couple weeks ago, where he was kind of the RBI man earlier this year.
And McCaleb has been just trying to figure things out at the plate, takes a first pitch ball downstairs. And ever since he's come back from the injury, McCaleb just hasn't quite looked like himself, defensively or at the plate. But it's only a matter of time before he's back to that player we know and love. McCaleb back in that Rod Carew-esque stance, and he hits this ball well to left field. Left fielder shading over, and he makes the catch. Nice play by Landon Erickson to end the inning. So the Bulldogs get a 2-out double, but nothing more. We're on to the bottom half of inning number 2. So Colby, at the end of that last half inning, we saw the fly ball by McCaleb in the left field. Great play by Erickson, especially considering the wind and the impact that it's going to have on fly balls today.
Yeah, it's like we just said off air right before that. It's, of course, it's dead right now, right when we start talking about it, but it's just been picking up. I mean, I know there was a little sprinklage of rain. I know when I was at work in Franklin, it off and on sprinkles. So yeah, just with that wind gust, not like consistent wind. So that's something for these outfielders and even infielders when there's a pop-up to check the flag behind them, maybe throw some grass every once in a while in the air. Just, you know, it gives you a better read of like, what do I need to do here? But we also are at the highest point of the whole campus, I think.
We do have the bird's eye view from on top of the press box.
So, of course, it's a little windy up here, but probably on the field not as much.
I do want to give a shout-out to East Hickman High School for being so accommodating to us for this baseball broadcast. I've never quite seen a press box like this, Colby, from anywhere we've gone this season. Usually you see these rooftop press boxes with football. You have your offensive and defensive coordinators getting the best view, the best seat in the house, but it works for baseball as well. We've got probably the best setup we've had all year besides our home games.
Yeah, it's super nice. The ladder coming up was a little shaky, and I'm not a great heights guy as it is, but this is sweet. It's a sweet view. Yeah, and it's almost like we're by ourselves up here, which is kind of cool.
So Jaden Malugin stepping in, the 5-hole hitter for the Eagles. Corners cheating in. First pitch, gets him in the shoulder, but he wears it like a champion and jogs on down to first. So Lewis, who hasn't been afraid to work inside, there we see one of the risks you take when you do work the inner half.
Yeah, that one hurt. That one definitely hurt. That was an audible ooh by me. Yeah, that's something you don't miss about the game, Josh. But what's good is you don't rub it and you go to first and take your bag.
And Malugin runs fairly well. He's taken off first pitch McCaleb throw to second. On the money. Oh, and he's called safe. A bang play. And Malugin swipes the bag.
I think if that throw is literally like half a foot to the right towards the second base side, he's probably got him. It's just the tag maybe was just late. But great throw, great steal. That was just good baseball right there.
So now East Hickman has the first run of the game, standing on second with nobody out for Derek Trotter. Trotter squares, pokes at it, missed it, goes back to second. Not in time. Called safe. Another bang play, and Colby for a second, I thought they had him.
Yeah, again, I think it was just so bang, and McCaleb just wanted to... Okay, sorry, they were appealing the strike call. I was looking what that was, so it should be 1-1, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so on the throw, it looked like McCaleb was just kind of didn't expect him to be that far. Which I didn't either expect him to take that kind of secondary. But it was almost a suicide squeeze from second, which you don't see often. Good throw, almost nabbed him.
So 1-1 to Trotter. Doesn't square. Lewis works inside. Again, a back pick from McCaleb. High throw. Nice catch by Kraft at short, showing off the hops.
Yeah, that's 3 plays in a row that Kraft has had to be a little wide receiver over there. And we know he's a good athlete. But now we got 1-2 on the board. That was a strike?
I didn't think so.
I thought it was inside, but not sure I know the count right now. Either way, I'll say this. Chester is now holding at second. You've got Kraft in the hole. That's a little interesting for me.
Not too often you see that with a lefty. I suppose they're just trusting that with Lewis's velocity, he's going to be late.
It is 2-2, Josh. Yeah. So that was a strike call. So you got 2-2 count. I'm wondering if I'm not sure, but yeah, you've got Kraft in kind of that 5-6 hole, and really good pitch.
Goes down swinging on an outside fastball by Lewis. And that's 3 strikeouts for John Michael.
Great pitch there. 2-2 count. Let's throw something outside, see if we can get a chase, and it was a really good pitch. Now you got 1 out, still got on second, but you're at the bottom of the order right now. You feel kind of comfortable to me if you're John Michael.
So it's the 7-hole hitter, Dylan Redden, stepping in, the designated hitter. He's DHing for first baseman Braxton Hill, and he's first pitch swinging.
Just looks, Redden just looks like he was a little late on that first one. I would be shocked if he goes off a fastball for these next pitch or two.
Lewis a couple of checks at Malugin at second. The 0-1 called low, just below the knees. But another great spot by Lewis.
Yeah, not a bad spot at all. I would even mind if he lived close to there the whole night.
The 1-1 gets another swing and a miss.
Kind of expecting fastball the rest of this at bat, just based off swings. Curious if they throw something else, but knowing the guy in the dugout, I don't think he wants to get too cute here with the guy on second.
The 1-2 blows a fastball by him for back-to-back punch-outs. So after a runner reached to second with nobody out, Lewis records 2 outs in a row as he tries to strand that runner in scoring position.
Number 18, Dwayne.
And it's the center fielder, Dwayne Lampley, stepping in for the first time.
And you can hear Coach Hunt, third base line for East, say, shorten up with 2 strikes. He knows John Michael's pumping it on the mound right now, and it's important to just fight pitches off.
Runner goes, first pitch swinging, throw to third, and Seal can't dig it out. It rolls behind him. And it looked like the runner was going to retreat back to second. Maybe they thought he fouled it off or just some sort of miscommunication, but that's a stolen base. Oh.
Wait, no, sorry. You're right.
Yes, you're right, Josh, that Because I was also thinking the same thing. Foul. You saw the runner almost run back twice, but I think he was just giving him time. Wasn't a bad throw. It was just more on the base. If I'm being like super like, you know, technical here, maybe throw in front of the base, but it was not a bad throw. Here's a
Squares to bunt, squeeze, pulls back, and McCaleb applies the tag on Malugin. So Coach Hunt takes a risk trying to get the game's first run, but the Bulldogs counter it to perfection. We stay deadlocked at 0 as we march on to the third inning. It'll be 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Dogs to start the third inning. Wyatt Bates will be leading off the frame. And Colby, the last inning where the Bulldogs were at the plate, we started to see a lot better ABs, a lot better pitch selection. And we talked to Cooper Mays after the game last Thursday against Cornersville, and he said that was probably his biggest gripe with the team, taking really hittable pitches and then swinging at tough pitches out of the zone, popping them up, just not really having productive ABs. Hopefully, the last inning, the start of something new for these Dogs.
I think a big thing there too, Josh, is taking hittable pitches early in the count, because you can kind of tell tonight just based on swings and when they are. They're not waiting around, or at least trying to. I know the results haven't been there quite yet, but you're seeing a lot of early fastballs, or excuse me, foul balls. And I know that had to be something they talked about. We talked to him after the game, and they were just talking about they're just seeing fastballs early. That's
and
a really
Bates
good hit.
Lines it to right field, and it's past the right fielder. It gets past Trotter. Bates can run for days. He shoots through second. Coach DeShane, stop sign on. No, he windmills him. Bates goes to the plate. Relay in time, and Bates is cut down at home. And a great relay throw by the Eagles, catch and tag by Blackburn. And the first run potentially of the ball game is erased. And Colby, that slight hesitation at third might have been the difference.
Yeah, and what had happened is I was watching the second baseman on that relay, and it looked like he just bobbled. And that was just enough indecision for Coach Duchesne to send. Originally, he had his hands up for a stop sign, saw the bobble, and went ahead and sent him. Yeah, I think just like you saw it as a play at the plate. So yeah, if it would have been full send, I probably could have gotten there. I would have been okay with a full stop. No out, start a guy at third base, but it's over. Credit to Wyatt Bates for hustling. Like, he was moving on those bases, and yeah, maybe that alone can get you momentum. Like, all right, we can hit this guy. We almost just scored a run on second pitch of the inning.
And in the stat sheet, Colby, I believe that goes down as a true triple. I mean, a lunging, diving play by the right fielder. I mean, you can't give Trotter an error there for the effort.
No, I don't even think he touched it. If you're gonna be like very technical about it, I don't even think he touched the ball until he got to the fence to recover it. So yeah, I think it's a true triple with an out at the plate. Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
So it took a perfect relay to cut down Bates. Great throw by Malugin. And Qualls ahead in the count, 2-1, fouls it back into the field, evens at 2-2. The 2-2 to Qualls. Flares the shortstop. It hits the ground, takes a weird hop, and Qualls beats it easily without a throw. Pinpoint placement by Major Qualls, just reaching and poking it to shortstop.
That's a perfect two-strike swing. Don't know if it's a striker ball. Let me throw the barrel out there and use my speed. We talk about that every game that we do about Major Qualls. He could literally do that every time, and he'd probably on. Just a burner, man. And he's now someone you have to really be focused on if you're East.
That's a tough play for Martin, the shortstop, and you know, Colbs, I think he could have played that ball perfectly and made a perfect throw, and he still probably isn't throwing out Qualls.
I thought he made a pretty good play. Looks like Major's shaking up, maybe just slid in wrong. Probably a dead leg or yeah, it looks like on the knee. But no, I do think Martin made like a pretty good play. He just had to eat it. Like it's just so slow when it got to him, and he was playing deep enough where didn't really have a play.
So with one out, the lineup rolls back over to the leadoff man, John Michael Lewis. He's 0 for 1, went down on strikes. Presley, a couple of checks, slide step, misses upstairs for ball 1. And Qualls, after getting shaken up, that might delay the time Coach Duchesne decides to send him.
I was just about to say that, and kind of feeling out, okay, when is Presley not going to throw a fastball here? Because he's been pretty good at switching up when he's going to do what. So you're trying to guess on the count, and yeah, you can kind of tell Major's ginger and doesn't really want to slide in and hit that knee. I wonder if it's like, because this happens a ton when you're playing this many games in high school. Could have like one of those strawberries on the knee, something like that. Yeah, you can tell he does not want to go down to that knee.
Again, Presley, pickoff move to first, and again, Qualls back in awkwardly, almost bear crawling into first. But Presley, very smart pitcher. He knows Qualls' speed.
Yeah, and I think he saw him maybe limp a little bit, and he's like, let's see if he can get back. And it's smart. It's definitely gamesmanship for sure.
Another slide step by Presley, and you know, the speed of Major Qualls might be dominating the mind of Presley right now. That's 2 slide steps, 2 fastballs missing, way elevated, almost pitch-out-esque.
It's definitely, if anything, it's a focus thing where you're not totally focused to the plate, except right there he proved me wrong and threw a really good pitch.
Yeah, Presley was dialed in on that 2-0, going right at Lewis for the first strike in the AB. Qualls still with a pretty healthy lead over at first, but Presley just staring him down. The 2-1 to Lewis. There goes Qualls. Pitch low. Qualls slides in an easy steal, but again, he made it look as ugly as possible.
He does not, I mean, he slid on his entire side of his body, so he didn't have to touch his knee. So I do wonder if there's something going on there. Still fast. I mean, obviously, making a high school catcher throw on you is pretty good if you have speed, because more times than not you can beat the throw.
That was a great pitch to run on, a bit low. Tough play by Blackburn behind the dish. And again, it kicks away. Qualls moves up to third easily. Lewis might round first and take a look at second, but he pulls up. So the one-out walk puts runners on the corners for the Bulldogs. And again, due up for the second time, it's Andy Kraft. He went down looking his last time up. And in Kraft's first AB, Colbs, we saw Presley really, really use the outer half.
Yeah, he was working all over the place, and that's when we kind of could tell that he had that tonight, that he could place that pitch, because he froze Andy Kraft on an outside fastball after kind of working up and in a couple times. There's your first and third play from East. So wonder what they got on. Looks like corners will be in, and middle will be double play depth.
First pitch to Kraft. Lewis takes off. Throw to second. Throw to the plate. And Qualls is in standing. And Lewis heads to third. And Coach Duchesne yelling at Major Qualls to touch the plate. It looked like he did the first time, but better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I think it was just an awkward play from Coach Duchesne's perspective. We could see he touched it from here because we have a completely different perspective. I mean, we're in the clouds up here, which is awesome. but it was a weird throw back to the plate. Catcher had to come down, and Major didn't know whether to slide or not or get out of the way, so he kind of had to like body him a little bit. But no, good first run. John Michael at third. That's a thing that I don't think a lot of people notice. Is he just kept kind of gracefully went from second to third on that, and now you got a guy back at third base with middle of your order up, still one out. Presley down two on the count to Andy Kraft. It's if you're the Dogs, we've seen this a couple times in the past week or so, but you have to take advantage. We've seen a lot of times where bases loaded, one out, or no outs, and they get almost nothing, if not just one out of it. These are the times you have to put a crooked number up because you can't rely on putting one up and being okay and then be like, all right, John Michael, there's your one. Like, we as Reds fans see that all year long.
Oh yeah, especially
It's
recently
so
with Cincinnati
frustrating.
having the worst offense in Major League Baseball.
So frustrating. So from experience from both of us, from that and just playing ball, you know that you need crooked numbers in high school baseball to give yourself some comfort and to really play free. So this run's important. So is Andy Kraft getting on base.
And it also helps John Michael Lewis feel more comfortable on the mound, like he doesn't have to be perfect. 2-0, bunt pulled back, and Lewis was a pretty good way down the third base line, but able to retreat back. 2-1 count to Kraft.
So yeah, it looked like not a straight safety squeeze. If it was, you'd see what happened with East the last inning, where the guy's he's just all the way down the line. But you can kind of tell and they're out of it just like that to 3-1. He doesn't even want to bunt right there. I'm curious if he puts it back on. Doesn't look like any signs were even told to the batter. I'm thinking it's a 3-1. Find your pitch, drive a run in. Simple.
So 3-1 to Andy Kraft. Lewis stands on third. 3-1 pitch, downstairs, ball four, and Presley, after looking virtually untouchable in the first two innings, has run into a bit of control problems.
We talked a lot, we have throughout the season, about how important just getting base runners is. Not only does it give you a chance to score, right? But what it does for a pitcher, his mindset, he's now got to be worried about more than just the batter, right? He can't just play catch with the catcher. And we saw him play catch with the catcher earlier in the game, and he had 4 strikeouts and only 1 hit. And in this inning, you can kind of see better counts by the batters, a good hit by Major to use his speed. But you kind of see now that Presley's having to look at first and second and come to the plate. Like, a lot's going on the mound.
And it's a first pitch swing from Spiegelmeyer. Comes up empty, and Spigs 0 for 1. He also struck out swinging. He was a part of that 1-2-3 when Presley struck out the side in order in the first. But now, bit of a different story in the third inning. The Bulldogs have runners on the corners. Kraft takes off. Spiegelmeyer pops it to the first baseman, Hill. He makes the catch, and Kraft, who is standing on second, has no chance at getting back to the bag. Hill takes it himself, and the Eagles have themselves a double play, and Presley able to limit the damage. But the Dogs push across 1-0 Hickman County when we come back. And it's going to be 8, 9, and 1 due up for the Eagles. Dwayne Lampley was at the plate last time when Coach Hunt put on the suicide squeeze. He missed the bunt. Malusian was tagged out by McCaleb coming home. So now Lampley being tasked with leading off the bottom of the third. John Michael getting to work with a lead on the mound. And Colby, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first Bulldog lead in a week and a half, going back to Thursday's game against Waverly.
Gosh, I think you're right. I can't actually remember, but it feels right just based on how they've been playing. But we talked last inning about putting a crooked number up, and if you're John Michael, yeah, you'd like to have more runs, but you can't do anything about it now. Just keep being you. He's been great so far. Keep throwing strikes, important. Throw strikes early. Keep him off balance. He's just doing a good job right now. Just keep doing it.
And it's 2 quick strikes to Lampley, both fastballs. 0-2 count. Lewis already set on the mound, and he's working fast. The 0-2 pitch. Off the handle, sawed him off. Lewis fields it, underhands it to Bates, and it's 1 up, 1 down for the Eagles. And what a pitch by John Michael.
Awesome pitch. Strike down, middle, strike out, down. Were his first 2, and then he's like, let me just run one inside and set up a breaking ball. And then he swung at it, and I thought it hit him in the hand when he swung. But no, in the big leagues, that's a broken bat, and that's a great pitch by John Michael.
And Colby, it's times like that where Lampley appreciates the warmer weather. If this is earlier in the season, when you're still in the winter, when it's 30 degrees outside, hitting that ball off the handle, there's no pain quite like it. And Lewis down 1-0 to the 9-hole hitter Joseph Covington, now down 2-0.
For our golfers out there, it's like hitting your lowest irons or your highest irons, so like a 3 or 4 in the cold and thinning it. Your hands will break. It's the worst. And that's what he would have felt if it was about a month ago.
Now Lewis gets a strike over. The 2-1. A big swing and a miss by Covington. Now Lewis down 2-0, works it back to 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball called. Strike 3 on the outside corner. And it's strikeout number 5 for Hickman County's ace.
2 things. One, I know you noticed that glove is popping right now. Like, he's feeling it up there. And similar to what we saw was it at Hampshire where we couldn't do the game because of the cell service?
Yes.
That's the same sound I heard. So and there it is again. You're just hearing it. And we're up here in the clouds, like I said. We're on top of the lights, and you're hearing a thud every single time. Another thing, top of the order. John Michael, it's important to stay in this groove. Now you've got the best hitters up.
Chopper to third, Seal charging, but it's Kraft that fields it. Throw to first way late, and it's off the glove of Bates. Wouldn't matter either way. And Colby, I heard you say come get it. A play like that, you'd probably rather have Seal making that play.
I think there's a balance between your defense being versatile and everyone being able to play the positions. Not saying that Seal or any of these guys can't, but they just haven't in a little bit. Seal's played like maybe an inning or 2 over there recently, I think. For me, that's a ball at third baseman. If he can get to it, he can get to it and make the play. It looked like he thought he could, then just kind of let up. I think 100% you go get it and you make the play. Kraft made it a bang-bang play. Like, it was okay. It's just, I don't know. Those are tough ones right there in the hole. Same thing on the other hole at first and second.
Runner goes. McCaleb has problems on the transition. It goes into center field, but a nice job by Spiegelmeyer to back up the throw. And yeah, that stolen base was pretty much a foregone conclusion once McCaleb had trouble on the transition. We saw him bobble it just slightly, but even slightly is enough to give up a base.
Yeah, and I just looked over because that ball got thrown into center field, and I could tell Coach Hunt was not happy that his runner didn't pick that ball up and advance to third. He wasn't very happy there. But Dawgs, for kind of how not great the bobble and throw was by McCaleb, caught a break that he didn't pick that ball up and go to third.
Now time is called at the plate by Landon Erickson, who's 0 for 1. Struck out swinging his first time through. Lewis comes set, delivers. Pumps in a strike.
Yeah, this is the John Michael. I'm going to keep saying it all night because I love saying it when he's on, but this is John Michael we know and love. Like, pumping the fastball, strikes, popping the glove, and having some breaking pitches that complement that fastball.
Woo! Inside, off the glove of McCaleb, and with the velocity that Lewis is bringing tonight, if you're a hitter, you'd rather him not come inside the kitchen.
Yeah, and I know I've said this before, but sometimes when you miss like that, you miss if you're a pitcher your glove side. That's just your intensity, your want, and you just kind of open the hips and throw it about it like that right there. You throw about as hard as you can. Same thing for golf. If you pull a ball, that's about as hard as you can hit a ball. It's the same kind of concept. You're just juiced up. You're fired up. It's important for him to maybe calm down a little bit and just get back to throwing strikes. 3-1 count.
Looking to battle back against Erickson. Takes a few miles per hour off of that last fastball and forces a swing from Erickson. He fouls it back into the net. Count runs full, 3-2. And although he doesn't have to, maybe we see Martin in motion, 3-2, 2 out.
I think maybe. What's it hurt? 2 outs.
But Lewis,
doesn't matter.
Right down Broadway, called strike 3. And it's strikeout number 6 for John Michael. So Martin reaches on the infield single, swipes second base, and he'll stop there. Lewis holds the Eagles scoreless through 3. We're on to the 4th. It's the heart of the order due up for the Bulldogs in the top of the 4th. 4, 5, and 6, starting with Kylan Seal. And if you remember, he popped out to the first baseman Braxton Hill his first time.
Would love to see Kylan Seal get back to what he was doing. I mean, frankly, just last week, he had a great week. I know he didn't, the team really as a whole didn't end great last week. But we remember Waverly, that he hit that home run and had 2 pretty good games against them, and I feel like he played good against Lewis. He's just been a good guy in the box for this team this year, and he slumped a little lately, but he's just needs to get back there, get his timing right, and
but in
we
all
know
fairness,
what he can do.
Colby, who hasn't looked a little bit sluggish.
As I started to say that about last week, and then I kind of corrected myself. I was like, well, you can't say anybody had a good week. So, yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
And it's first pitch swinging by Kylan Seal, but no dice. Presley ahead 0-1, had a long inning in the 3rd. Breaking ball, snaps it off for strike 2.
Yeah, that's pretty. That was we've seen 2 or 3 of those that just kind of fall off the table and go to somewhere unhittable. So 0-2, time to battle.
The 0-2 to Seal, fouled, and we'll do it again. Thought for a second, Colby, he held on to it back there.
Yeah, that No fun from experience, but as a catcher, getting hit straight in the mask, especially off a fastball. That thing is coming in there.
So the 0-2 once more from Presley. Misses high at the eyes of Kylan Seal.
Good start to the battle right here after going down 0-2. Foul ball off. Watch one high. Saw Braden Chesser do that and get to a good count and hit one in the left field, center field gap. So let's see if Seal can replicate that.
The 1-2. And Presley tills the soil 1-2 to even the count 2-2.
That one right there is a trying to make your perfect pitch and just gripping the ball a little too hard and trying to make that perfect pitch and spin it right and do all that. Sometimes you just trust your stuff and throw it, but we said that a lot.
The 2-2 Seal swings at a ball up in the zone. And Presley goes one up and one down. And a good start for this young ace for East Hickman after a struggle of an inning last inning. Threw about 20 or more pitches, and that was pretty uncharacteristic considering how dominant he had looked through the first couple of frames.
Yeah, I think if you're him, though, and you go back to the dugout and you see just a 1 up there, you're pretty good. Like, you're like, okay, that's the worst they're going to see me tonight. Let's get back to what I was doing. They only got 1 out of me. I would be pretty pumped if I had his stuff and I was back to the dugout only giving up 1 after how I threw it.
And it's a first pitch breaking ball into Carter Bates. Called strike 1, and Carter went down looking his last time. Fastball by the bat of Carter. So now, the Bulldog first baseman down 0-2 very quickly. Presley winds and deals. Misses upstairs for ball 1. Not a super competitive pitch, but Colby, as we've seen, he uses that to set up that breaking stuff low.
I almost think that was a breaking ball that he just, like, kind of fell out of his hand. But if you're a smart pitcher, you can use those things for good, and it looks like he just did.
Oh my goodness, a disgusting breaking ball by Presley. And Carter Bates goes down swinging. So it's back-to-back Ks for Presley in the top of the 4th, and now it's the freshman Braden Chesser. He's 1 for 1, doubled in the left center field gap his last time up, and he got to second base but wouldn't go much further. But now looking to start something once more with 2 outs.
Yeah, his second plate appearance with nobody on and 2 outs. Not ideal, but let's see if a little 2-out magic can happen. We've seen the Dawgs do that in the past, not lately, but maybe that would start to spark some of this momentum that they need.
And it's a first pitch worm burner from Presley. Breaking ball in the dirt, kicks away from Blackburn, and Chesser ahead in the count 1-0. And Chesser swings 1-0 down the right field line. Fair ball. Chesser rounds first, heads to second. Right fielder Trotter has some trouble with it. And it's 2 hits and 2 doubles for the freshman Braden Chesser. Boy, is he swinging a hot bat tonight, Colbs.
Yeah, a little double to the left field center field gap and a double down the line right side. He's that's where Braden Chesser is money. He just, when he's spraying it all over the place and working counts, he's locked in. And he showed that.
And Colby, that's really the sign of a good hitter. Whenever you're able to hit the ball hard, pull side, and you're able to sit back and drive something the other way. Chesser just so wise beyond his years. Has such prowess in the batter's box. First pitch swinging by McCaleb. Chopper to short. Takes a wicked bounce. Chesser rounds third. He scores. And McCaleb puts a ball in play, and I'm not sure, Colby, do we call that a single?
I almost want to call Riley Qualls, but he might be on vacation and probably isn't watching. I'm a good guy, so I don't expect the shortstop to make that play. That was a wicked hop. He jumped as high as he could and still couldn't come down with it. And you know what? Tractor needs a single every once in a while, so I'm putting a single in my book. But either way, bat on the ball, guy in scoring position, that's textbook right there, Josh.
So for now, we'll give McCaleb the RBI single, and Chesser with 2 outs was running all the way through an easy send. Now the Bulldogs up 2-0. It's that 2-out magic, Colby, started by Braden Chesser, just putting the ball in play, getting into scoring position, and trusting the guys behind you to knock you in. Wyatt Bates, he's 1 for 1. He had that triple into right field, if you remember, and was thrown out trying to stretch it into an inside-the-park home run. Now he's way behind in the count, 0-2. Ruger Toddy, the courtesy runner at first. 0-2 fastball misses in the other batter's box, 1-2.
Yeah, we've seen a couple Dogs have that fighting spirit when getting down 0-2, and saw Braden Chesser do it a moment ago. Let's see if Wyatt Bates can also do it and keep this thing going.
The 1-2 misses low, gets away from Blackburn. Toddy takes second base. You heard the coaches over on the East Hickman side, Colby, saying you just need 1 strike, and that's what Lewis had to do in the previous innings. When a guy reaches scoring position, 2 outs, all you need is the guy at the plate.
I feel like we've said that all year. You need 1 strike. You need 1 out. You just need 1 ground ball, something like that. Tough to do in the sport, but he did it.
It's a foul tip into the catcher's mitt, so Presley gets the 2-out strikeout. But the Bulldogs able to push 1 more across. It's Hickman County 2, East 0, as we head to the home half of the 4th. And after striking out the side, it will be Braden Presley, the 3-hole hitter, leading things off for the Eagles in the bottom of the 4th. And Colby, we were just talking about this off the air. Presley was able to strike out the side, but not in order. I feel like it's a rarity.
Yeah, baseball's a funny game, and we saw 2 swinging strikes, or strikeouts, excuse me. Double, single that pushed the double in, and then bookended by a strikeout. It's funny thing to look at in the book. But yeah, I don't know. Baseball's so weird like that. We saw last week John Michael had an inning where he gave up, I feel like a couple runs, but had 4 strikeouts. So this game it's just funny. It's a funny game.
So John Michael Lewis, speaking of, is looking to keep, or rather looking to pick up right where he left off in the last inning, and Lewis has been looking really, really solid so far tonight, Colby, and it feels good to see a guy as good as John Michael play his best ball, and he's a great kid, one of the best you'll find at Hickman County High School, or maybe even in the county as a whole. But as good of a guy he is, he's just as good of a baseball player.
Yeah, he is a great dude, and a good ambassador of Hickman County, and man, he's been gifted with
that first pitch skied down the right field line, foul, and compared to Mike Smithson Field, there is a lot of room in foul territory down the left and right field lines.
Those folks that went to Waverly, not quite there, because Waverly had that humongous backstop. But it is bigger than our home park, and it's important. I know pros used to say this about going to Oakland Coliseum because it was basically a football stadium that they play baseball in, is never give up on a ball when you've got room like that. You just go to the fence with it. Your teammates will tell you if you're out of room.
Lewis trying to work the outside corner, just missed. A good take by Presley. Presley reached on an error his last time up. He had that ground ball to the shortstop, Andy Kraft. The 1-1, Lewis goes right at him, and he pops it up. Carter Bates calls it, and he makes the catch in foul ground. And Colby, next to a strikeout, that's probably the next best out you can record as a pitcher. A lazy pop-up, easy play for your defense.
Yeah, you love a good pop-up right to an infielder. It's even better, like, you can have a pop-up in the infield, but sometimes communication happens, and you're like, oh, I thought you had it. But if it goes right to the third baseman or first baseman or catcher, and all I got to do is just sit there and, like, look at the stars and catch it, couldn't have it any other way. It's even better when it's early in the count. You get to save some pitches.
So now it's the catcher Blackburn takes a first pitch strike. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to the third baseman Kylan Seal, and that was the play where Carter Bates was pulled off the bag and made a great athletic play to apply the tag. Fouled off the handle. Lewis way ahead 0-2.
I think if there's one guy, Josh, that can walk up to Darth Vader's music, it's probably their catcher. This is a big kid right here, Blackburn. Very fitting to walk up to Vader's theme song.
And he's your cleanup hitter. More often than not, your most dangerous hitter. But Lewis has him 0-2. Misses just high for a ball.
Yeah, that looked like it was a purposeful up and away ball. You can see McCaleb kind of set up as if he was almost standing. Wonder if something's going to be low right here.
The 1-2 breaking ball, and Lewis lost a handle, and it evens the count 2-2.
I think that was supposed to be low. He just, like you said, lost the handle on it. We saw that last inning from Presley with a couple of those breaking balls, but you forget about it and you throw the next one.
The 2-2 called strike 3 on the outside corner. Make it strikeout number 7 for John Michael Lewis through 3 2/3. So now, stepping in the 5-hole hitter, Jaden Malugin. He was hit by a pitch, and if you remember, Colby, it wasn't a pleasant sight. He wore that off the front shoulder, and with Lewis throwing heat, got a feel for him.
Gonna be honest, if I was in that box, the first pitch I saw right after it, I might just see one. You know, not even swing, but props to Malugin for taking a big cut and staying in the box. That one, you could hear it from up here.
The 0-1, chopper to first, easy play for Bates. He takes it himself, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for John Michael Lewis. Your score, Dawgs 2, Eagles 0. So the Bulldogs looking to add some insurance in the top of the 5th as this game has been moving right along. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Dogs, starting with Major Qualls. And Qualls reached on that infield single, that chopper to the shortstop that Martin really had no play on.
No, he didn't. It's something we talk about a lot with Major, where with 2 strikes he can really just barrel on ball and dig it out. He's one of the few guys in this lineup that truly has that game-breaking speed that he can get on and cause havoc. We see Kraft use it. We see Spiegelmeyer use it. Just good athletes all over, but specifically with Major, we say that a lot is he can just use his wheels so much. You say it a little bit, but that old-school 9-hole hitter, second leadoff guy, you know, let's see if he can make some noise and truly be a second leadoff guy for this group.
And Colby, we've seen several Bulldogs reach base tonight, but I don't think any of them got into the head of Presley like Major Qualls. I mean, Braden Presley, who's looked so stellar here tonight, it seemed like his mind completely shifted whenever Qualls was on first base. He generated several throws, and eventually he went on to steal second.
Yeah, and you could tell he was like hobbling and still causing that havoc. Like, yeah, he's just got different speed, man, and it's nice to have out of your 9-hole guy that he can go up there and he can just slap it around if he wants. He's a better hitter than that. We've seen that, but he has that option.
Presley still out there on the mound for the Eagles. He's thrown 71 pitches through 4 innings. It's first pitch swinging, sliding stop by Malugian, throw to first, not in time, and a great defensive effort. But Qualls reaches on the infield single, and I want to correct myself. That was not Malugian.
No, you're right.
Was it?
Now batting for the
Yeah, okay.
John
I need to start
Michael
trusting myself more, Colbs.
No, you were dead on, Josh. But I will say, that's a play you see like a video game. You see the show where you slide into that. Like, that was really impressive. But like we said, Major Qualls can just dig balls out like that. That he can go in. We see a bunt squared by Kraft. I like this play a lot with no outs. Get the guys running. We saw this earlier in the year. A lot of small ball with these faster guys, and honestly, there's a lot of singles out of it. So curious to see if he sticks with that with the third baseman well in the grass.
So Lewis, who is the leadoff hitter tonight, steps in as the lineup turns over. Qualls takes off. Lewis squares, pulls back, and a ball at his head. And Qualls takes second, and the throw gets into center field, and Major moves up to third. So the Bulldogs learning from the mistake of the Eagles. We saw Coach Colton Hunt so upset at his runner at second for not picking up the McCaleb throw into the outfield. And that might have paid dividends for the Eagles if he was able to move up. But now Major taking advantage. Great heads-up base running. And now you've got a runner on third, nobody out for your leadoff man, John Michael Lewis, who's 0 for 1, struck out and walked. Lewis squares, pops it foul down the third base line, almost playable for Joseph Covington.
You can just tell these dogs are really just fighting for runs and have noticed that the past couple games that they're at a premium right now. They have their number one guy, maybe their best hitter, if not one of their better, squaring around right now with a guy on third. So you can just tell how much the dogs really need this game and really need these runs.
And it's a 1-1 swing from John Michael Lewis. Comes up empty, maybe slightly pulled the head out, Colbs.
Yeah, I think he just, sometimes John Michael, similar pitching, just he's so aggressive and he's such a good player and he's so athletic that he tries maybe a little too much at times. You could tell he really wound up for that one. It was just late.
The 1-2, breaking ball fouls it back over the press box.
Here we go. 0-2 count. Guys fouling pitches off. Sorry, now 1-2, but it was 0-2 count. Guys fouling pitches off. Working in counts. Let's see if John Michael can do a job right here, as the dugout says.
The 1-2 to Lewis, and he goes down swinging. John Michael strikes out for the second time today, and now the 2-hole hitter Andy Kraft, who's had a similar day to John Michael. He struck out looking in the first inning and worked a walk in the third and was later doubled off on the Spiegelmeyer pop-out. But right now, you're just looking for your guys to put something in play to get that run in from third. And a ball on the ground, Colby, you got to be thinking Qualls probably breaks on contact.
Absolutely. Corners.
Kraft squares, bunts it back to the mound, goes home, and Major scores standing, and Kraft reaches first easily without a play.
Yeah, that's where small ball kind of comes after you right there, and you could just tell that that Presley was like just not ready for that. And sometimes that gets you when you do a squeeze play like that. You could tell he turned his shoulders to throw to first and get that out, and then he was like, I actually have a play here. And it was late for both. So great job by Kraft getting that bunt down. That's very important thing. A thing that you don't see often, honestly, on those plays is actually getting the bunt down. And props for Major seeing it down and going and taking off.
On Major right there, Colby, that's where it pays to not hesitate. He put his head down and he was breaking the whole way through, trusted Andy to do his job. Kraft, a big secondary, and a big swing by Spiegelmeyer on the first pitch for strike one. So with one down in the inning, maybe we see some action out of Andy Kraft over at first, but the last time he tried to steal second, it resulted in the pop-up double play. Pick off to first, Kraft slides in head first safely. Kraft goes, Spig squares, bunt down the first base line, and wisely Hill lets it roll. Foul. So, Colby, the last couple of at-bats now for Spiegelmeyer, we've seen Kraft break and then some form of a hit and run, a bunt and run. I'm surprised Coach Duchesne isn't just letting Kraft straight steal because Hickman County has had a lot of success taking bags.
Yeah, it's we were talking about that earlier. We like that option. But yeah, maybe he knows his guys. So
Kraft breaks, ball up and away, and Andy steals second with ease. The throw a bit offline on the shortstop side of second. And now the Dawgs have another runner in scoring position for Spiegelmeyer. Spigs 0 for 2, looking for a bit of redemption after striking out and popping out. Kraft, pretty healthy leadoff second. Now Malugin creeps in to cover the bag. Kicks and deals. Low and away, gets away from Blackburn. And Kraft jogs up to third. So with less than 2 outs, Colby, now we want to see Hickman County take these selfless at-bats. Don't do too much, put the ball in play, and get a run home.
yeah, I was about to say as East starts creeping up, if they're going to start playing infield in, being down 3 runs now instead of 2. If you're the guy at third, you still have 1 out, so you're seeing the ball through. You're not just going on contact, which, you know what, now that I say that, with Kraft, he's very fast. I might just do it. It would depend how hard the ball's hit, I guess, and all kinds of stuff, but you're listening to Coach Duchesne right now, and you're 1-1 with him. And if you're Spigs, try and just do a job and hit one through the infield.
The 3-2 pitch, and it gets him in the shoulder blade. And the Bulldogs will have runners on the corners with 1 out for the cleanup hitter, Kylan Seal. And if there was ever a time for Kylan to find that hitter that he was a week and a half ago, this is the time to do it.
Absolutely. Like we just said for the last guy, now you see the second baseman and shortstop now playing double play depth, 1 out, makes sense. But a ball hit through the infield right here, scores 1, advances the other. Like, you're attacking early. Your same game plan as you've had all game. If you're the Dawgs, it's been a good one, but you're attacking that fastball early and you're fighting if you get deep.
Good lead for Spigs over at first. He goes, Seal squares, pulls back. Blackburn throws behind the runner Kraft, and he's in standing. So without a throw, Spiegelmeyer takes second. Dawgs have 2 runners in scoring position. Still only 1 out. 1-0 count to Kylan Seal. Infield back in.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't mind that back pick right there from Blackburn.
Hefty cut from Seal, fouls it back off the catcher's helmet.
I think Blackburn didn't catch Kraft sleeping, but his back was turned and he was kind of just getting back to the bag, like going through the motions. And I think he thought, oh, I can just back pick him right here and get that lead runner. It was closer than maybe what it looked on the camera. It was pretty close, but 2 guys in scoring position, infield in.
And Seal takes a breaking ball, called strike 3. So I thought it was 1-1. Actually, it was 0-2. And Seal goes down looking, striking out for the second time today. And now it's Carter Bates. And Carter Bates, as we say in the business, Colby, feels like he's due. He's 0 for 2, a pair of strikeouts on the day, one looking, one swinging.
Yeah, important for him to get started early. I think both strikeouts, he just feel like he's not timed up and a little behind. It's important to kind of get started early, stay on the fastball, work off of it. What that means is you're looking fastball. If you see spin or you see movement, you try to hit that thing to right field. I think that's your game plan going into this, and now you're down 0-1 in the count. I think you stay there and you're trying to bust that fastball because that's a pitch he seems like he can go to right now.
The 0-1 delivery from Presley, big secondary by Kraft. Little check swing from Carter fouls it into the on-deck circle.
Yeah.
So Bates, after striking out twice already, down in the count again, 0-2, now needs to shorten up, protect, put something in play, and see if the defense makes a mistake. And he swings at the high fastball, and Presley gets out of the jam. Hickman County, though, again able to widen the lead by 1. They squeeze across another. Dawgs 3, Eagles nothing, and we're on to the bottom of the 5th. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Eagles in the bottom of the 5th as John Michael Lewis looks to keep rolling. And Lewis, through 4 innings of work, has only yielded 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 7 strikeouts on 55 pitches. So not only has Lewis been dominant, he's been efficient. And it starts with the right fielder, Derek Trotter. Trotter's 0 for 1, struck out swinging his first time through. And Lewis goes right at him, back-to-back heaters, and he's ahead in the count 0-2. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 8 for John Michael Lewis.
Yeah, this is the John Michael that we signed up for to begin the year right here. This is the guy where you're like, he's going to pound the zone, he's going to throw that fastball, have some complimentary stuff, but just throw it by guys. And both pitchers tonight we've seen a good game. I know Presley's given up some runs and maybe some walks, but he's at 10 strikeouts. Like, this has been a great game so far by both guys, and definitely a fun one for us. It's moving. There's been good ball, and I'm a sucker for a good pitch off.
Swing and a miss from Dylan Redden. Count even 1-1. Redden 0 for 1. He also struck out his first time through the order. Lewis working inside with a fastball. Misses in well off the plate, and now Redden ahead 2-1. And Lewis going right at him. Goodness gracious.
I think also with him throwing strikes early in the game, you see some of these pitches that are a little wayward, but guys they're having a fight now that they're down.
9 Ks for John
Yeah.
Michael Lewis, and Redden goes down swinging.
Just kind of exactly what I was saying right there is like now he can kind of not be perfect, still use that fastball that he knows he can throw by guys. It really doesn't matter where it is. Guys now on East Side have to fight and get back in this game, so they have to be aggressive. So, for lack of a better term, you're just calling their bluff and throwing strikes or making them swing at non-strike.
It's Dwayne Lampley stepping in for his second time. He grounded out right back to John Michael Lewis. He takes the first pitch strike. And a half-hearted swing, and Lewis is just on it. And he's right back on the rubber, working fast. And a bit of an excuse me swing into the Bulldog dugout. He stays alive for at least one more pitch. Still down 0-2.
Yeah, that's a no fun one as a guy sitting like if you're on that bucket in the first that first seat in front of the coaches. I just saw whoever it was. I couldn't see who it was, but it looked like Jagger Lawson just got up and walked away. That's a no fun one right there. 0-2
Yep.
count.
The 0-2 again. Line drive in the right center field. Spiggs gives chase, and it's all the way to the wall. Lampley heads for third. Spiegelmeyer throws it in, and Andy Kraft has to go get it. It's a 2-out triple for East Hickman. Now they've got a runner in scoring position for the 9-hole hitter, Joseph Covington. And
Yep.
Colby, other than the throw into the outfield by Braden McCaleb earlier, that might have been the first piece of hitting by the Eagles that have found grass.
That's exactly right. We talked a little bit about it against Lewis County when they had their ace throwing hard. It's something where when he starts getting aggressive and throwing strikes really hard, as a batter, you just got to put bat on ball. And that thing rocketed. I mean, you could see Spiggs didn't even realize how fast it was coming off the bat and made a bad angle on it, but there you
The
go.
0-1, number off the handle to the second baseman on the first. Inning over. So East Hickman gets the 2-out triple, but Lewis strands him. And we're on our way to the 6th inning as Chesser on the 4-3 putout. The Bulldogs looking for some more insurance. And Colby, I think we're really seeing a different John Michael Lewis on the mound that we've seen really all year. Because even when he's had runners in scoring position, which East Hickman is able to manufacture a couple of those tonight, there's been absolutely no panic on the mound.
Getting ahead early, throwing strikes. We've seen that in his pitch count too, how it's still pretty low for where we are in the game. It's so important. That's why I preach it so much. And I know coaches talk to their guys about it. It's just like, got to be able to pound the zone. It helps you. It helps your guys in the field play good defense. It helps. It does so much. If you can't locate, guys are just, it's free bases. We saw that plenty last week from these guys. But John Michael, when he's on, I've said it a couple times tonight. He's fastball first. Fastball, he's being able to locate in the zone and use his complementary stuff, his off-speed pitches, to complement his fastball and make it look faster, make it look more located. Yeah, we've seen a good night from John Michael.
It'll be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Bulldogs, starting with Braden Chesser, who's 2 for 2. with a couple of doubles. His first time up, smashed one into left center field. His last time up, went with the pitch, drove it down the right field line. Looking to replicate more of that success to start the sixth. Breaking ball skied. Second baseman Malugin calls it, and he makes the play in shallow right center field. So for the first time tonight, Presley able to get Chesser out. Now it's Braden McCaleb due up for the Dogs. He's 1 for 2. He flew out in foul ground to the left fielder his first time, then singled home a run after Chesser's double. First pitch, McCaleb swings, skies it to left field. Shortstop fading back, but it's the left fielder, Erickson. He makes the play, charging in strong.
Yeah, almost no man's land right there. It was pretty close to that, but ball seemed to just stay in the air just enough for someone to get there. You know, I don't hate this approach from the Dogs. Just 2 unlucky swings, just right under the ball, just popping it up. But I like that they're getting aggressive and going after strikes, because you know Presley, if he wants to stay in this game and give the Eagles a chance, he's got to throw strikes. I mean, he had that inning where he walked a couple guys, and we only got 1 out of it, but you don't want to repeat that. So if you're the Dogs, you're up there, you're seeing a strike, you're hitting a strike. Like that, it's pretty simple. Of course, when you get deeper in the count, it's a different story. We've said that tonight. 0-2 count, 1-2 count, you're just fighting. But right now, you're trying to see your pitch and hit your pitch.
So time is called, and Wyatt Bates has a brief conference with third base coach Cody Duchesne.
We've seen Wyatt Bates have that triple that he got nabbed on at home plate, and then he struck out in the 4th. Wouldn't hate for him to just go the other way in the gap again.
And another lively fastball by Presley, even in the 6th inning. He's way ahead 0-2 on Wyatt Bates, and Bates never really left the box. He stayed right there in his stance, trying to stay locked in. The 0-2 from Presley. Misses upstairs for ball 1.
Yeah, and I think Presley's been overshadowed tonight by John Michael and how good he's looked. And I know he had a couple of walks and whatnot, but 10 strikeouts, we know he has that stuff. We know he can put it by guys. You got to still respect it if you're Hickman, and that's why you're looking for those strikes to hit.
And again, Presley misses upstairs 2-2. And Colby, I think you make a fantastic point, because Presley's only yielded 3 runs so far, and a lot of it has just been dink and dunk by the Bulldogs, some infield hits, some small ball. It's not like Presley's just being hit around either. 2-2 pitch, misses in the dirt, runs the count full 3-2.
Yeah, and only 6 hits. I mean, that's not a lot, and he's given up 3 walks, so yeah, you would rather not do that, but 3's not a terrible number. 10 strikeouts is a pretty great number, only being through 5 innings so far, but he's been good tonight.
3-2, and Bates goes down swinging, 11 strikeouts for Braden Presley. He's trying to keep his guys in the game. The Eagles looking for a late game rally as we head to the bottom half of the 6th. It's the top of the order due up for the East Hickman Eagles in the bottom half of the 6th. East Hickman only has 6 outs left to play with if they want to mount a comeback in this first round matchup with the Hickman County Bulldogs. Of course, round 2 will be tomorrow back at Mike Smithson Field on the campus of Hickman County High School. So this game has been exciting. It's been fun so far. It's not over yet. And we still have another matchup between these two teams to look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, and I will say just real quick, I know you want to introduce the batter, but this is the game I would show up for. If you had to circle a game to go in person and not listen to these two knuckleheads, it'd be the East and Centerville game at home. It's always a fun one. But come support the Dawgs tomorrow. They need you, and they'd be happy to have you in the seats for them.
The 1-0 pitch called a strike on the outside corner as Alex Martin steps into the box. He's 1 for 2. He struck out and singled in the 3rd inning. Count evens 1-1. And it's getting a little breezy up here in the clouds. Foul ball.
I'm just going to say that Josh has, we both have our new merch hats, and he's got his new merch shirt from Bulldog Baseball. And I think you made a good decision going with the long sleeve T-shirt, as I've not packed accordingly, and I have a short sleeve shirt on.
And a fastball right down Main Street called strike 3, and it's another K for Lewis. Lewis has broken double digits with 10 strikeouts, and he and Presley just continue to go back and forth on the mound. It's crazy, Colby, a combined 21 strikeouts between Lewis and Presley.
Yeah, this one's been fun. I mean, it really has. And
not if you're a hitter, of course.
Not if you're a hitter. I know if you're a Bulldogs fan, you're like, I feel like we could have got more across, but props to Presley for like being able to locate, especially in some stressful times. And John Michael's just been rolling tonight.
Ahead 0-1 on the 2-hole hitter Erickson. Erickson's 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts, 1 swinging and 1 looking. Called strike 2 at the knees. Lewis just so dangerous when he can spot that velocity. Way ahead in the count, 1-2 to Erickson. Lewis winds and deals. And he stays alive, fouls it back.
Yeah, good job by Erickson there to foul it back and see another pitch right here. We talk about the Dawgs needing to do that a lot, but Erickson struggled tonight with 2 Ks, so if you're John Michael, you want to make sure that he is you just put it by him right here.
The 1-2, and he does just that, blows it by him for 11 punch-outs. So with 2 outs in the 6th inning, John Michael Lewis has 11 strikeouts. And Colby, if we were at some major league ballparks, that would be free food.
Yeah, you'd be cheering for like free chicken or something. Isn't it pizza in Cincinnati?
It is, La
Yeah,
Rosa's.
it's like, yeah, that's a big chant every late game situation.
So now it's Braden Presley. He had an infield single to the shortstop in the 1st inning and popped out to Carter Bates in the 4th. Now he's ahead in the count, 2-0. Lewis, base is cleared, 2 out. Fastball just low. So Presley way ahead in the count, and at this point, East Hickman, with time running out, they just need base runners.
Just need guys on base.
3-0, maybe taken all the way. He does, and it's in there for a called strike.
That I haven't felt like I've seen a lot of inside pitches. Maybe him hitting Malugin early in the game stopped that, but it's a really good pitch by John Michael, followed by a walk. So you've got a base runner, but you still feel good if you're John Michael.
And if you're John Michael, the tying run is still in the on-deck circle.
Yeah, right.
And there's already been several times tonight where Lewis has allowed some base runners. They've even gotten up to 2nd or 3rd, but he's still able to stay calm, as cool as a cucumber out there on the mound, and he bears down and works through it. But East Hickman just trying to get something going, anything going. And now it'll be their cleanup hitter, Dalton Blackburn. And Presley has been courtesy ran for, can't quite tell the number. But they do have a little bit more speed, letting their pitcher rest up before he undoubtedly takes the mound again in the 7th. Modest lead over at first. Lewis spins, gives a look, and he's back in safely.
Yeah, it was a good move by Lewis, but he almost had I don't know if I've ever noticed this, but he had like a hitch in the throwing motion. He got his body in position to just stop, but yeah, just one to.
And that ball's hit pretty well to center field. Spiegelmeyer shading over. He makes the catch, and that ends the 6th. So Presley reaches on a 2-out walk, but Lewis quickly records the out of Blackburn, and we're on to the game's final frame. Dawgs 3, Eagles nothing. So for the second time in today's game, it'll be 9-1-2 to start the inning for the Bulldogs. Major Qualls, who's been swinging a pretty good bat. Although the stat sheet only says 2 infield singles, both were pretty good situational swings, especially back in the 5th inning when he had the base hit up the middle. The second baseman, Malugin, made a great sliding play on a ball that looked like it was surefire headed to the center fielder.
Yeah, it was a really good play and a really squared up ball by Major too. It's just good baseball all around. And they say it a lot in basketball: good defense, better offense. That's what happened. So I wouldn't hate for that to happen again, or just another bat on ball. You can tell Major's we talked about this earlier in the year about those basketball guys, him and Kylan Seal, just getting back into it. Didn't have the preseason, and you can kind of tell that he's timed up right now, and he's seeing the ball really well.
So it's 6 innings of work and 99 pitches. Braden Presley still on the mound to start the 7th. And Colby, how do you feel about the move?
I mean, he's already over the threshold to come back for, 4 days, because it's 80-something pitches. Yeah, why not let him see if he can go the distance? He's earned it. He's pitched really well tonight. I know there's 3-0, but right now, if you're in the MLB, he's has recorded a quality start. If he doesn't give up another run, quality start is exactly what it sounds like. It's quality start. He's just been a little overshadowed by John Michael, and we're happy about that. But Presley's throwing the ball really well tonight, and so if I'm Coach Hunt, I'm gonna stick with my horse and see if he can give us a chance.
First pitch swinging by Qualls, hits that to left field. And what an acrobatic. No, he didn't make the catch. It's off the glove. And Qualls is in standing in the second base. It was hard to see from up here, Colby. I thought Erickson just made catch of the year.
Yeah, I think, I was muted, but I talk to myself all the time over here, just as it's going on. And they were playing in, which makes sense. You got lefty and Major, who has hit 2 ground balls. So why not play in and see if you can come and get a ball and help your infield? But at first, when I saw how the left fielder reacted, I was like, oh, he burned him. And then he almost made the catch. He just dropped it. So, yeah, that was a crazy play, but got in scoring position with wheels, too.
Now it's back to the top of the order with John Michael Lewis, who has had a great day on the mound, but not so much at the plate. And I think that's a trade that Coach DeShane will take. But if you're John Michael, he wants to be productive on both sides of the ball. He's 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts, and a walk. Squares to bunt, and that's beautifully placed, but it rolls foul and dies almost immediately after it crossed the chalk.
Yeah, we both said, you said it on air, I said it again talking to myself, but we both said, wow, what a bunt, or perfect bunt. And then it just like hit, it looked like it hit a little piece of grass and moved left. We've got a little conference from Coach Hunt, and I think he sticks with him. I don't know why you would pull him here. He just looked at Cooper. That was funny. Yeah, we talked about two guys that we all know each other, right? We all went to college together. He just looked at Cooper in the dugout. And he said, "No, we're not." Meaning, we're not taking him out, Cooper. So don't even think about it. That was funny. But no, back to the bunt. I thought that was perfect, and it just, like you said, just went over and died. It's like, why couldn't it just stay straight and died? But is what it is.
And Colby, it's moments like that where we can be so appreciative to be in such a tight-knit community where everybody knows everybody. We're all friends here, even though the rivalry might get a little bit heated on the field. Off the field, I know most of these people here would sacrifice their time, energy, and money for anybody if they needed it.
Yeah, it's a very cool community. I mean, like we always, yeah, we want to be East in everything as bad as possible and almost embarrass them. But outside of this, like these are good people. This is your community. I know it's a little bit up the road, but you go to church with these people, you go to school with these people. Yeah, I mean, you saw it right there, just how funny that moment was. But back to baseball, lock back in. See if John Michael can do a job right here.
So Lewis down in the count 0-1 after the foul bunt. Qualls leads off second. Martin holding him on. Long look from Presley, spins, pickoff move, and he's back in standing. And yeah, Colby, you made a good point. It is just a drive up the road for some. And for me, believe it or not, this is a closer drive than Mike Smithson Field at Hickman County High School. I live in the Lyles area, so again, a lot of these people, you see them all the time. You get to know them, you get to love them, and Lewis squares to bunt. He went around, and the umpire said it wasn't a foul ball. The fans and coaches disagree.
So from up here, we have a table set up, and I can't see the fans. I just heard foul ball, and I was like, okay, we'll go back. And then I heard the ump say, nope, which is very funny. But hey, you gotta get third, John Michael. You wanna,
help yourself.
Help yourself.
Yep,
got a
it
chance.
Is. Our favorite phrase. 0-2, no out. Lewis looking to bear down, and he goes down swinging. So for the third time tonight, Lewis down on strikes. And now with a runner on third, one out for the two-hole hitter, Andy Kraft. And almost deja vu, Colbs. We had Andy Kraft put down a bunt. He reached on the fielder's choice. Presley tried to get Qualls at home, but was just a little bit too late with Qualls' wheels. But no sign of bunting for number 6 this time.
By the way, folks, that was strikeout number 12 for Presley. So, yeah, if you're wondering how good these pitchers are tonight, they're good.
They are good.
I mean, there's not I was trying to think of anything else to say. They're just flat out good, man. They're throwing it past guys. They're spotting stuff. And then getting guys to chase late in counts, it's like how you draw it up every time. 12 strikeouts for Presley, 11 for John Michael.
So the infield creeps in, and it gets past Blackburn. And a great jump by Major Qualls, and an easy run for the Dawgs. Hickman County now leads by a grand slam, 4-0.
Yeah, and of course, right when I, say Presley's been on it tonight, that's maybe the only gripe you would have. He's still only given up 4 runs in a whole game. I mean, he could go he's going to go the complete game, but maybe he's been a little erratic. But that's what comes with a guy in high school throwing the ball hard.
And Kraft sits back on the breaking ball, foul by a few feet.
Yeah, good. That's a good plan up there, down 2 strikes, seeing a breaking ball, trying to throw it in the outfield the other way and just get on base, help your team. Also, props to Major right there, seeing that through. He was gone before that catcher even turned around to go get the ball. So he's playing well right now.
The 1-2 to Kraft. Line drive into right, and that drops in for a hit and takes another high bounce. Nice job by the right fielder Trotter to read it, because if that gets over his head, Kraft might score.
Yeah, Wyatt Bates almost scored earlier, and I think it'd be fair to say Kraft is a little bit faster. Not saying Wyatt Bates is slow. He's a quick cat too, but yeah, it's some of these balls have hit like the grass, and I will say this field is probably the best I've ever seen it. Like the actual field, it's great. Some of these balls have hit and just really taken crazy like high hops, almost like turf.
We've seen that on the infield and outfield
Yeah,
as well.
but great play by Trotter, like you said, to contain that.
So now Hickman County has a runner on first, 1 out. Spiegelmeyer at the plate. He squares, pulls it back. Kraft breaks, throw down, late. And he steals.
Yeah, it's not a bad throw. I mean, it was on the money. It's just Andy Kraft's really fast. And sometimes you just chalk it up to, all right, he beat me there. And now if you're Spigs, do you stay squared with 1 out and try to move him to third, or what do you do? Kind of reading the corners right now. They're playing about even with the base.
Maybe
So
a couple of steps in. The third baseman, Covington,
yeah,
backs up a few. First baseman in on the grass now. The 1-0 pitch is over for a strike.
yeah. So chalk the bunt off. He's not doing that with 2 strikes. But infield hit 1-1. Excuse me. I guess I read the scoreboard wrong, but I guess it's still on. I kind of doubt he does it here though.
The 1-1 to Spigs. Breaking ball. That was a vicious cut, but only finds the breeze. Presley way ahead, 1-2 on Aiden Spiegelmeyer.
Yeah, long pause right here. Presley's looking for his pitch. Saw the catcher have his glove high. Maybe he wants something high. Presley's shaking him off, and he looks like he's got his pitch.
Comes set, runner breaks, breaking ball, chopped to third, foul. And we've seen the good hands of Cody Duchesne down there at third, but this time hit a little bit too hard for his liking.
I almost think if that ball's to you and you're not sure about it, let it go and act like it's not even there. You don't want to embarrass yourself. You just let it go. Somebody from the dugout would get it. You don't have to do it. Just got to be sure-handed over there if you're coach.
Spiegelmeyer stays alive for another pitch, still down 1-2.
Another thing to add real quick is Kraft could have a huge secondary with, well, I say that.
Now Malugin breaks behind him, and Presley trying to keep him honest. And with less than 2 outs, it's rare that you don't see anybody hold on the runner, and now Malugin might start to cheat a little bit more up the middle.
Yeah, I think that looked like a play because he ran in and wasn't there to start with, but now he's kind of shaded that way. Starting to go away.
The 1-2. Spiegelmeyer pops it straight up. Presley's under it, calls off his catcher. Oh, and he makes the catch. And on that play, Colby, it looked like that ball weighed about 20 pounds as it hit the glove of Presley. Just maybe the wind got it just a little bit in the East Hickman sky.
Yeah, I think sometimes the rule of thumb is don't let your pitcher in the infield catch a fly ball. Doesn't really count all the time in high school because your pitcher also plays the field on different days. But yeah, that was kind of one where it just looked awkward. But no, it's an out either way.
So now it's the cleanup hitter, Kylan Seal. He's 0 for 3. He's struck out a couple of times, and he's popped out to the first baseman. And the first pitch to Kylan gets away, and now it's a runner 90 feet away. Kylan up in the count 1-0. Presley looking to keep his guys within grand slam distance. And Seal, big cut, missed it, strike 1.
Yeah, that was that pitch you highlighted earlier that had a little cut to it. Not a true fastball, but fast enough where it was a cutter, not like a slider. Yeah, if you're Seal, you're gap to gap right here trying to get this guy home.
Seal, no stranger to cutters. He throws a very good one in his own right. Takes a pass at a high fastball, and he's down 1-2.
And folks, if you've noticed tonight the sequencing right here, high fastball, what do you think's next?
Low breaking ball.
More times than not, that's not always true, but it's a statistics game, and more times than not, you're going to see that.
The 1-2. But this time he stays elevated. This one missed above the letters. Seal evens the count 2-2.
And that's why this game is a true chess match, Josh, because guess what? The low breaking ball is still in play because you just went high again. But he knows Seal struck out on a couple high fastballs, so he can also go there. That's why if you're the batter, you're really fighting right here.
2-2, and there's the breaking ball down in the dirt. Seal tries to run it out, throw down, and Seal made it pretty darn close over at first, but Blackburn throws on the hill, completes the putout and the strikeout. So make it 13 Ks for Presley. An impressive night, but now he's hoping his guys can rally for at least 4 runs. They've got 3 outs left as we're on to the bottom of the 7th. So with 1 frame left to go for these East Hickman Eagles, it's 5, 6, and 7, starting with the 5-hole hitter, Jaden Malugin. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out to Carter Bates in the 4th and was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd. So now, Malugin will probably be content with another hit by a pitch because at this juncture, these Eagles just need base runners.
Yeah, Dog fans, we've been here, and it's the same message for the visitors. It's you need base runners more than anything, and your working counts. You're working counts. And Josh, how many pitches is John Michael at?
John Michael is up to 85 pitches.
He's still got plenty of room. I thought he would be deeper, but that's really efficient. Yeah, so you're not really kind of hoping to hit him out of the ball game, but you're just trying to get base runners if you're East.
And again, and we called it, Colby, for better or for worse, Malugin wears a fastball off the back, and now East Hickman has a runner on base with nobody out. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first time all night East Hickman's had a leadoff base runner.
Well, funny enough, the only other time was Malugin getting hit by a pitch.
Well, all right.
That's a weird. That's crazy.
So
but yeah,
Malugin,
so 2 times tonight.
definitely the guy Coach Hunt wants up with nobody out, I suppose. He's been doing good at getting on base. First pitch to the 6-hole hitter, Derek Trotter. Back pick almost got Malugin. Trotter took that first pitch low. He's 0 for 2. Struck out swinging both times.
Really close play right there. Good tag by Carter Bates to kind of catch it and turn around his body and tag. But good throw by Tractor McCaleb.
So for East, just trying to get more base runners with the tying run still in the hole. Lewis evens the count 1-1 to Trotter. Probably won't see that runner at first be all too aggressive considering the deficit that East Hickman faces. So if you're watching this as a Bulldog fan, you're hoping John Michael can go the distance. If you're watching this as an Eagle fan, you've got your rally caps on.
That's right, yeah. And like you said, if you're the base runner, you're so valuable right now. Every base runner is valuable, obviously, but especially, you need 4 to tie. You're not taking any chances. You're station to station. If you see an opportunity, you take it, but you're not running into an out here.
The 1-2 to Trotter. Got him swinging at 12 strikeouts for the Columbia State commit. So that'll be a hat trick for Derek Trotter. He goes down 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. And now it's Dylan Redden.
The designated hitter, Dylan Redden.
Redden 0 for 2, also 2 strikeouts on his ledger as he looks to keep the line moving. Malugin leads off first, and Lewis pulls off a little bit. Haven't seen him do that too much tonight, Colbs.
We saw it a little bit. I can't remember exactly where, but it was when I was talking about. I guess it was probably Erickson because there was a lefty, but he was throwing in a little bit. Just a little juice. Just needs to calm down. But great play, honestly, by McCaleb to not pick it, but get to that spot.
And Lewis misses the outer half by a hair. Good take by Redden. He's ahead in the count 2-0. Malugin again only a step or 2 off first. Lewis, a get-me-over fastball, called for a strike. And Lewis again right back on the rubber, working quickly.
That is something we didn't see a lot, is being able to fight back into counts. We haven't seen that a lot from John Michael lately, but tonight we definitely have.
And he gets a swing and a miss. Out of Redden, count even 2-2. And again, Lewis, even if he falls down in a count 2-0, 3-0, 2-1, no panic, working back pitch by pitch. Really following that Coach Duchesne mantra of forget it, next pitch. 2-2. How about another called strike 3? Lucky number 13 for John Michael. So now East Hickman down to their last out, and it's the 8-hole hitter Dwayne Lampley. He tripled into right center field his last time up, and he's also grounded out. He's 1 for 2. John Michael 1 out away from a complete game shutout. Called strike 1, and Colby, goodness, that velocity has not wavered.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a broken record right now, but throwing strikes with his stuff works, and it always will. You just got to trust it and make your pitch, and really you're just playing catch with the catcher. His stuff is good enough to do that.
And a crazy stat line, Lewis is still only at 96 pitches. The 0-1. Popped him up. If they make the catch, it's a Maddox. Lewis catches it. Take a bow. What a performance, the complete game shutout. And for the first time in 13 days, the Hickman County Bulldogs are back in the win column with a district W over their rivals from Lyles. It's a 4-0 dub from the boys from Bulldog Boulevard.
Man, that's a good feeling, right? To be able to call a game like that, where both pitchers were just had it. Dawgs finding a way to go deep into counts and just do their thing that we've seen them do earlier in the year, and John Michael just being the guy we knew he was and we know he is. Yeah, what a performance. Both pitchers had 13 strikeouts. Both went the complete distance, complete game. And what that does for the pitcher, I know we've said this before, is it helps your bullpen, helps your arms. Because now everyone's fresh too, both sides. So even if you're East, you're like, of course, you don't want to lose 4-0. You want to be able to go out there and put some runs on the board and make this a game, which it was. But you still get all your arms. Same for Hickman. So tomorrow is going to be really interesting at Hickman County. But tonight, John Michael, take a bow. The bats, I know 13 strikeouts, but they did what they needed to do tonight. Major Qualls had a good game again. But, man, John Michael and Tractor McCaleb back there really had a good game.
And we saw some of these Bulldogs, Colby, really return to form. We saw John Michael look like himself out there on the mound. We saw Major Qualls continue to be a great contact hitter at the plate, just putting the ball in play, finding ways to get on base. And we saw Braden Chesser as well. He got back to that great hitter that we know him to be, a guy that can work the count, who's very selective, can get his pitch, and a couple of extra base hits on the day. And Colby, I believe going into this game, I think John Michael was the leader in extra base hits with 5, and Braden Chester had 2 in one game. So Hickman County hasn't been getting a lot of extra base knocks this season, at least not as much as that coaching staff probably would like. But Chester doing a great job of padding those numbers, if you will. A couple of great swings resulting in a left center field double and a right field line double.
Yeah, it's and I know that's a true stat because when a guy advances on a base and hits one in the gap or something, it feels rare right now, right? It feels like wow, that happened. I haven't seen that lately. But good for some of them. Wyatt Bates had that triple he almost scored on. That was a good hard hit ball.
Yeah,
like
Colby, if you take away that slight hesitation at
Yeah.
third, Wyatt Bates could have had an inside the park home run.
Probably a 5-0 game. He probably scores right there. And even not, he's at third, and Major Qualls probably drives him in the next batter. So it was a good, solid game. Yeah, did you leave some at the plate? Sure. But you can always say that. I think your positives are John Michael finally found his stuff again. I think you got your ace back, which is humongous this time of year going into the end of district play into the tournament. And your bats are starting to wake up a little bit. You're getting some of the guys in the bottom waking up. You get some of the guys at the top working counts, which they weren't doing. Just a good night for the Dawgs.
And Colby, I'm going to give another crazy statistic for those still listening. So both pitchers recorded 13 strikeouts each, correct? So that's a combined total of 26 strikeouts. And over the course of a 7-inning ball game, there's 42 outs, both teams included. So 26 of the total 42 outs were strikeouts. That is 62% of the outs tonight were via the K. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it feels like a Reds game, except
Yeah.
we're the ones getting struck out. No, it was awesome. I said it a couple times. You said it a couple times. We were talking about it off air. How Presley looked awesome. I know he had a couple pass balls,
and
but
Colby,
John Michael looked awesome too. It was awesome to watch.
I think we have to give credit. We talked about John Michael's complete game shutout because usually the winner is the one who's given the most flowers. But Braden Presley, he is East Hickman's ace for a reason. He looked really, really good, barring a few free passes, a few pitches that Hickman County was able to hit hard. But other than that, he looked great. And you see it tonight. I haven't had the privilege of watching him this season, but finally getting to see him in person. I've heard a lot about him. Seeing him, I get what the hype's about. Braden Presley, stellar pitcher.
Yeah, threw the ball really well. His step breaking ball really came into effect in this game. We thought early that it was a lot of fastballs, but man, that's what good pitchers do is they don't show you the whole thing early. They throw you a little bit early, and he got 3 strikeouts right out of the bat with just fastballs. Threw some breaking balls in there later, and guys had to adjust to that. Yeah, it was really impressive. And it's hard to say he didn't have his best stuff because he had 13 strikeouts, but he gave up 8 hits. It's crazy that he's going to look back and be like, man, I wish I could have been better. He had 13 strikeouts. We haven't seen that this year, and both the guys tonight had that. It's a wild night, and good. Just props to both the arms tonight. They were excellent.
And it's one of those games you just have to appreciate as a fan of baseball. But at the end of the day, it's the Hickman County Bulldogs defeating the Eagles on the road by a final score of 4-0. And I don't know about you, Colbs, but I'm already excited for tomorrow's matchup.
Absolutely, I am too. And I'll say one more time for everyone that maybe wasn't listening to us earlier. Tomorrow's a game that everyone needs to be there. Obviously, we want you guys to hear our voices and all that stuff. But tomorrow's the game that you would circle on the calendar to go to. It's the classic East Hickman rivalry. It's at your home ballpark. I know the concession stand will be rocking. It always is. They got the merch down there. It's gonna be fun tomorrow, and correct me if I'm wrong, good weather too. So it's gonna be perfect night.
Oh yeah, and nothing quite beats that in-person baseball atmosphere. But to echo what you said, Colby, we here at WNKX always appreciate the support that's been shown to us at the radio station. We love doing this. It's an absolute blast. But yeah, pack the stands tomorrow. But if you can't, that's what we're here for.
We'll be here.
We're going to be live streaming it for you guys. But if you're East Hickman, you got to get the bats going. Only a couple of times tonight did they even have a ball in the outfield. So some adjustments between now and then will have to be made if they want to be competitive. But Hickman County, they're probably going to want the offense to step up even a little bit more than they did tonight. But Coach DeShane and that coaching staff is going to be looking to Jackson Warren, pitching to a lot of contact, trying to go deep in the game, trying to go 2-0 against these East Hickman Eagles. But until then, for Colby Shelton, I've been Josh Copley saying so